This conference will now be recorded.
Being 6 p.m. October 29th, 2025, we'll bring the Tilton Budget Committee to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming. We will start. We're going to interview people tonight. You are with the Twin Rivers Food Pantry, so you were here first, I think.
Well,
if you,
I told Pines that they could go first tonight. Wasn't there, did you guys have a conflict or something? Yeah.
okay,
So,
sure. Okay.
I can bring up a couple of chairs.
So either they can sit back there with the microphone, right? Or you can, sure. However we can hear you the best.
And organized what agencies? Fines. Tilton North Carolina. Huh? Guess not. Not sure. I guess not. Hi there.
Speak into the mic. That's all I ask.
Woohoo. It's not a cold, it's just allergies, so I don't, if I sneeze, it's just, this place is dusty.
Okay, fire away. Just introduce yourself, please. And
My name is Jennifer Haskins. I am the board president at the community center.
Sorry.
My name is Jennifer Haskins. I am the board president at the Pines Community Center.
And I'm Bethany Cottrell. I'm the interim executive director consultant for the Pines Community Center.
nice to meet you.
What now?
I'm the interim executive director consultant right now.
Does that mean you're like looking for an executive director?
It's a position that's currently not full or posted, but yes, I've been assisting the Pines with some executive director functions as they work towards hiring and posting the position.
Okay, would you like to make a statement or just run down what's happening?
Sure. So over the past year, the Pines has been working hard to continue providing programming and support services for both Tilton and Northfield. Through that, we also have been reviewing just internal policies, financial responsibility and stability, and where the Pines can continue in their sustainability for the support of Tilton and Northfield. Hence my position with the Pines and a lot of our policy work and processy work that we've been doing as well. Through that, we have been continuing to provide the before class blast and after school program that we have. And the successful summer programming, as well as the sports programs that we offer throughout the year. We are coming to the town of Tilton to continue providing funding at $75,000, which is a level request from previous years.
Mhm. I did notice, so are you expecting a big increase? Is that what this?
We have
conference
reviewed.
Proposed?
Yeah,
seems to be.
We reviewed the budget this year. The main area of expenses, as for any nonprofit, is around personnel.
Mhm.
And in the childcare field, the wages for personnel are lower than what many of us would probably expect, especially for the hard work that they're doing to support our youth. And one of the first things that I worked with the board on was reviewing where we were at wage-wise. We were extremely low in comparison to surrounding towns and the state of New Hampshire of what we were paying our employees. We did have some funds that were able to support a stipend or an increase over the summer, but that did expire. And although we were able to give the increase, we didn't want to take that back, especially looking at the other towns and programs and what they were offering for wages. And so the increase on the expense side is around those salaries. But we did also then review the cost of the programs. We were also very low in what we were charging, and comparatively to surrounding towns and throughout, again, the whole state, looking at, we looked at out in the Rochester area, and also Southern New Hampshire and Northern New Hampshire, really to say, okay, what are we seeing, and what does our population look like compared to others? We did not increase the fees to even be equal to or exceed what other areas are doing. We just were really trying to come back into some alignment to ensure that we're able to support our staff and the community and not have to cut programming.
Well, that had been one of our um, questions before. It says, how are you relating? Because your fees did seem very low compared to, say, Guilford, or, and you're not going to, people aren't going to run up there if you just raise your prices a little bit. So,
Right. Yep. And that was, we really worked hard with the board to present that. And also you'll see that although we're asking for level funding this year for the dollar amount, we're asking for the percentage is decreased, right? Because not only are expenses increasing, but we have explored other avenues for revenue. So we've applied to both counties this year for funding, as well as applied for the charitable gaming through the state of New Hampshire. We haven't gotten our numbers yet, but we just finished our 10 days in the Lakes region, and then have already applied for 3 and received 1 foundation grant, and are looking at the next cycle for grant funding as well. So we are trying to expand what we are doing so we can ensure that there is that long-term sustainability, that we can ensure the building itself has sustainability to go along with it, and then see what else can we be offering, because I think that's been one of the other big focuses of the towns, Tilton and Northfield, as well as the board, is that it is a community center. And so what can we be doing beyond childcare? And that's been some of the conversations and the narratives and requests we've made in these grants is, what other programs are out there and how can we be providing more, especially for like the middle school and high school grades.
well, how about adult?
Yes.
I mean, adult programs could be a very good source of revenue, and
Yes.
and you should be doing that too. Yes.
Yep. So we do currently have like a bone builders,
A Pilates going on.
yeah, like we have one that's for the older population of bone builders. Now I'm not balance program. Sorry, I had to find that word. That is consistent and does have attendance at it. We are in the talks right now with a yoga program to be able to provide that, and we have reached out to the community to say, are you looking at a Tuesday night or a Saturday morning, right? Like, when are we going to get the most people to be able to attend that? We've had a request for a pickleball group that, we're working on that. I'm going to say it's too cold right now, so that gives us a few months to,
Yeah.
to put something together, right?
Yeah.
So there are definitely those pieces in the works, and I'm working on a survey with the board, and then we'll be able to put that out to the community to say what does Tilton, what does Northfield, what do your residents want, so that way we're not just making things up and then seeing them not be successful. Let's put our time and effort into what people want to attend and can utilize the space for.
Well, I'm not aware of what other towns are doing, but I'm sure you looking into what other community centers are doing that are working. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. And we do have a unique space too. So it allows for us to
Yeah.
do some things that might be a little bit different too. So when the nice weather comes, to be able to do some of that as well.
When you were doing your wage comparisons, what were you comparing to? Were they commercial entities like daycares, or were they municipality?
They were more around the municipality and the nonprofits. So we compared to the Boys and Girls Club site program. So not the boy, the ones that were more in the schools in the local towns. We compared to the Outing Club in New London, Sanperton's program. In Milton, they have a program, Milton, New Hampshire as well, which is like a smaller community. And so those are the ones that I can remember off the top of my head, but I could look and provide more.
But
it was
just in
more
general, it wasn't just commercial entities.
correct.
Because sometimes that could skew wages in a certain way. One way or the other, who knows? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I love the Pines. I served on the board for a number of years, huh, Jen? That said, the numbers from a strictly budgetary point of view, Northfield has twice approximately across the board users as opposed to Tilton. And I'm not assigning fault or blame, or it's just the way it happens to work out. But we pay the same amount. So our cost per child, per user, I should say, is twice what it is for the Northfield residents. And how do we justify that?
Yeah, I think part of it is about the availability of the programs. And I do think that as we're looking at availability, it's also about what are we doing for outreach. And so that's like, as we've been coming through the policies and procedures, our next step is that outreach piece, right? Why are we not seeing people from Tilton? Because we want to be providing the same programs and supports for them to attend. And what are the numbers actually tracking, right? Because to your point, we're tracking the youth who are attending the programs, but there are other people who are utilizing the center that come in, and how often are we tracking that into what level? So I think like the rentals, we've seen an increase in rentals, in larger group rentals. We're not tracking everyone that comes to those, right? We're tracking the person who books that rental. So I hear what you're saying about if we're looking at it per user, but I think as we're moving forward, we need to look at it about the availability of the programs and then say, okay, what does Tilton want and what does Northfield want? And I think that would be something probably from the town to us to say, make it more appealing, or find out what, not more appealing, but find out what Tilton wants to, why they want to use it more, and bring that in.
Well, I think some of it is the location. Being over there in Northfield, it's more readily accessible
Mhm.
as opposed to Tilton, out of sight, out of mind,
Mhm.
kind of. And I don't know how you surmount that. But again, to my point, we pay twice as much per person for the use of the same facilities. And I don't know.
I don't look at it that way. I mean, Northfield has more kids than Tilton.
That's true.
So look at the percentage of how many kids are using that, because it's a service that we want to provide to our community. So that's how I look at it. I mean, it's the same thing with the library. We don't have as many people over
We
there.
haven't gotten to the library.
Well, no, I mean,
We'll talk
I'm just
about the
saying
library.
that comes up many times. But to me, you could look at the percentage of kids from Tilton and the percentage of kids to the population, and they could be equal. So they're providing a service, and that's how I look at it.
What type of outreach do you provide to the towns to explain your benefits and what programs you offer? Like, how are you letting them know?
Yeah, right now there's collaboration with the schools, and my understanding is, providing the information around what programs we provide for those youth. So the before, after, and the sports programs. We are growing our social media outreach to be able to be on the different town pages, the parent pages. We are building a collaboration. We currently have like once a week, I think it's through the CAP program, that comes and has lunch, the participants, that they come and have lunch, that adults with disabilities once a week. So there's this partnerships with some of these different agencies that we're using, and then the goal is to use their networks. But like I said, one of my big goals with the board for the next step is to say, okay, what's this survey? How can we reach out, and what's the best way to do that? So that we are ensuring we're getting the information out there. Is it through mail? Is it through a newspaper? Is it through social media? What does that look like? And I don't think we've done that actual review yet to be able to say, how can we make sure we're reaching the community the way they want to be reached? And that is definitely a goal of ours for this next year.
The only thing I would add is we do have the monthly newsletter that is available. You can sign up to get it. It has like all the programming that comes out over the course of the month, and the schools send that out to every parent. It's eighth grade down that gets it.
So I just want to say, I think it's great that you're doing level funding, especially with some of the other agencies that aren't. We're not going to talk about those tonight.
No,
But I think
we'll
it's
talk about those later.
I think it's amazing that you are bringing your wages up to where they should be, but you're also looking at the cost, like what you're charging people. You're keeping it even all the way across the board, which I think is important. I mean, it shows that you've put some thought into this. We have a lot of agencies that come in and want to just have the towns pay more and more and more, and they're not raising funds and they're not doing this kind of research. So I'm happy that you're level funding, but you are taking care of the needs of your staff, and you're making the program more based on what everyone else around us is charging. So I think that's good.
How are your facilities? Are there any major projects coming in the near future meaning the next 2-3 years?
The biggest project that we're looking at right now is updating of our heating and ventilation, or HVAC. It's currently working, and it's providing what it needs to provide, but that is what we have reached out to the counties to support a full renovation of the HVAC program or project, the
yeah.
units themselves.
So is that a grant that you're looking for?
Yes.
How many staff do you have, and do you have openings? Are you trying to fill slots?
Yeah, right now we have one full-time recreational director, and then the staffing fluctuates a little bit during the year because in the summer we have more group counselors so in the summer there's usually around 10 to 12 that are there for the program, and then managing the front desk as well. During the during the school year, that decreases to I think we're at 6 right now, and then we also have an office manager. But we do have vacancies at the moment that we're going to be able to make it, through the end of the year to wait to post those, because we've been waiting to post them at a time when we're sure of the funding that goes along with that. So trying to be responsible.
So basically, for next year's budget, you're increasing about 40%, but you're not increasing your ask from each
Right,
town.
right.
Okay, great. Thank you.
They're going to
That's
offset it with
impressive, yeah.
they're going to offset it with the
Right.
better, fees that
Well,
should be in
there's a
today's
lot of,
market
yeah, grants.
and
yeah,
grants.
Yeah.
So make sure when we have events, you all join us and tell your friends.
Okay.
I mean, we just had 2 events. Well, the Halloween season seems to be our busy season for our free events. We had the pumpkin carving, candy bar bingo. Sorry, we had pumpkin carving, candy bar bingo, and then we had the Halloween party last Friday night. And those are hugely attended, and we have always struggled to identify people's towns when you have 100 people coming into the room. Like it's it's those events that, though Bethany's been trying to really make us look at our fiscal responsibility, those free events we're trying to break even on. So we've been working really hard to get local businesses to offset some of the costs and things like that, so we can keep those events going and keep them free. But those are the largest events that we have, and we struggle to determine who's coming.
Sure.
If you could market your place more for like the weddings and the baby showers and stuff, because Merrimack Railroad just had a huge increase in what they charge people, because now they have an on-premise caterer and everything has to go through them. I mean, we used to pay $500 for the day and now it's like $2,000. It's crazy. So you guys should cash in on that.
Next, it's my next pending
Mm.
project policy.
Seriously,
But
I
yes,
mean-
we've actually had quite a few. I think there were 3 weddings in the last 3 months that
Yeah.
have utilized the space and have been grateful to have the options for that.
Affordable, yeah.
And you do have other children besides Tilton and Northfield, and where do they come from? Camberton or?
We see, I think there's a couple from Guilford and then a couple from Sanborn. It's very few
Mhm.
numbers.
Mhm.
I think it's probably where people are working
Okay,
makes
yeah,
it
so,
more
yeah.
convenient for
Okay,
them.
sure.
Yes.
I have a question. When you're in the negative, where are you pulling the money from? That line of credit, or because I don't see any, I mean, your operating account is a negative, and I mean, offsetting with building funds, but do you pull from this line of credit, or where do you get the funds if you don't have them?
We've been able, because we've had that budget of the building funds, we've been able to utilize that in this period of time
Okay.
to fill that gap. We because I started during this fiscal year, the push was on to try and fill that gap as well. So that way the end of the year will not be in a negative, and that we'll be able to replenish those funds within the building fund. I think part of that has been increasing fees, which we have seen is going to even within the next 6 months will help bridge that gap. And then the hope is with these grants and then with charitable gaming that some of those that don't have restrictions on the operating where it has to go, like charitable gaming, it will be able to go back towards that sort of the building funds and that safety net that we have.
Okay, Northfield funded you last year?
Yes, we have not touched that line of, we have not touched that line of credit since January when we took it out. And we got the line of credit because we got a brand new sprinkler system building wide installed.
Oh.
And the original proposal of how they were going to install it ended up not working. And so we had many holes in walls and ceilings that had to be replaced. And so it was about $22,000 that we had to take out of that line of credit to offset that cost. And I think we're down to $18,000 that we've paid off so far.
Yeah, it's down to 19.7 right now, yeah. Interest rates are going down. I hope it helps that line of credit.
When you say charitable gaming, is that like you actually going to do something at the Pines, or is that where they sponsor you for a night and you get all the funds from like the Revos or whatever?
Yeah, it's when they sponsor you. So in the state, you
Okay.
get 10 days
Yep.
that you can utilize it for. And so we just finished our 10 days at the Lakes region one,
Yep.
I think yesterday or the day before.
We're trying to do that with the charter school. We're trying to get on that list. Yeah.
Could you also do like Texas Hold'em or something? I mean, that years ago, when I was on the Main Street program, they had that up at Lockmere, and we would go up there and help participate. And so we got a part of that.
The way the state program is that you get 10 days total in a calendar year. So you can either do 8 days with a establishment and then do 2 of your own. If you wanted to do a fundraiser, we chose for this year because it was sort of, they had a
Simple.
spot that they could
Yeah,
fit us
right,
into.
right,
We said, we're
right,
just going to do the 10 days at a location. And then next year we'll have the discussion of, was that profitable? And should we look at doing a fundraiser on our own and decreasing the number of days there?
Okay, great.
Did you apply at the children's auction place?
You know what?
They give to
The Lakes
nonprofits.
region,
Lakes Region Children's Auction, yeah.
I believe
Thank
that
you.
was the one. Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry. I believe that was the one that just recently was due.
Yeah, I think it was the
I think it was
15th.
due the 15th.
Yeah.
And we had missed it because the restrictions around what it is that we could apply for. We
Oh,
were
okay.
not, it's not that we didn't want the money, but we were looking specifically for renovating of a bathroom and a couple other things. And
Mhm.
so we had passed on that one and focused on the ones that would help us with the HVAC and
Yeah.
things like that.
We do also have a pending grant with the Speedway Children's Charities as well. And so we've had our interview with them and are looking to re-engage with that process, as they're a good funder that will donate year after year to children's programs.
I should have asked this or clarified this for the people watching at home. If anybody looks at this, but you are the recreational council on all of our paperwork, correct? Yes.
Pines
We call it the
Community Center.
Pines,
Pines
but when
Community
people are looking for it on the budget at meeting day, or if they're watching this, just to clarify.
Yeah, okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Any other questions?
No.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
Yeah,
you.
good luck. Okay, how about the Twin Rivers Food Pantry? You want to come down?
A lot of things. No comment on that one.
Right. I'm Cheryl Swenson, and I'm president of the board of the Twin Rivers Food Pantry.
And I'm Sam Wiesel. I'm a general board member, and I am the only Tilton resident on the Twin Rivers.
Great.
So to start off with, what's been happening at the food pantry since we were with you last year. It's been obviously a very busy time for the food pantry. Our visits are up 25%. Things that we've been doing there, our director has got us involved with the UNH Nutrition Pantry Program, which assists us in helping us to develop approaches to be able to nourish everybody, to help us develop and improve our operations and look at maybe cultural and dietary accommodations. They also help us with community connections and trying to help our shoppers in making more nutritious choices and that sort of thing. So they had 3 levels, and we've completed the first level and I'm working with them, and they have been coming in and assessing the food pantry and trying to just improve what we have to offer with nutrition, particularly in mind. We've always had 2 part-time positions. We are finishing up interviewing for a 3rd position because we are so busy, and our director has to be able to do more than help unload and unload the truck. There's a lot of community things outreach that she needs to do as well. So we will have hire an extra person. We have had to, in the spring, we became aware that we were having some people coming to try to shop at the food pantry who was way outside our general community area. Henniker being one, a 45-minute drive or more. We started seeing more from Laconia and beyond. And as a board, we finally sat down and realized, after COVID, we said, anybody who needs food, come, we're here. But by the spring, we realized that that is not going to work as we get busier, and we need to be able to have enough food and capability to feed those who are closer to us. So the board voted to restrict our towns to 16, which is still a fair amount of towns, but there's a lot of smaller towns further out there, that don't have food pantries or don't have availability. Our 6 primary towns constitute Franklin, Tilton, Northfield, Hill, Salisbury, and Andover. And so they represent 92% of everybody who comes to see us. So that's our core group. And that is also the core group that we go to those towns and request some support and funding. The other things that we've been doing is we've had to, because we have more visitors, we are requiring more food. Oh, thank you. We have also made some big purchases in that this summer the board approved purchasing 2 professional 2-door refrigerator freezers. It's either a refrigerator or we can hit the switch and it becomes a freezer, depending on what we get in donations. We sometimes never know what's coming in, even if it's from our general USDA deliveries. So if all of a sudden they'll tell us they're bringing X, Y, and Z, and then they show up and they bring extra stuff, we have to be able to safely take care of that food. So this gave us some more flexibility, and we thought, we are golden. We are good this year. And by September, I'm looking for a 7-foot chest freezer to be able to store food as a freezer or just as storage. We thought, okay, we got that. We are good. We are continuing to be busy, and the board just approved at our October meeting, we need to purchase a 2-door professional refrigerator for some of our milk. It's like Jenga in the food pantry, and you open up a refrigerator and wherever a box can fit, we're putting it there. We used to like to have all produce, all certain, all the fruit is coming in here. Here's where all the vegetables, whatever. And now we're just putting things sometimes wherever we can fit it because we can't leave it out. It's not safe. Last October, you may have heard I think by end of November, we moved our whole operation over to the Franklin Baptist Church for 4 months. We had some rodent issues as well as our neighbors and the Bensons across the street. They were seeing more. And for the safety of people and food, we just moved everything out. Never missed a service day. Got the professionals in, did the repairs, and then moved back, and we're back here operating the beginning of April.
Can you clarify for everybody where that is?
So we are at 2 Central Street, just across the bridge from the Franklin High School in Franklin. So there's been a lot going on. We are trying to keep up as best we can with all the needs that are coming to us. Now, to talk about Tilton, last year, I believe when I was here, Tilton represented 8% of our total visits. This year, you represent 10.2% of all our visits. The visits themselves went up 62% from somewhere in the 500s to 800 visits a year. The number of households went up 37%, which actually is about 35 extra households for 24. When we come to you for requests, the request is based on the activity that occurred last year because we have a full 12 months. There's a lot that happens sometimes in our last quarter, which is why we don't use really any figures from this year when we're trying to figure out what our request should be. Sometimes summer jobs are ending. People are still having to look for new jobs. There's a variety of things that, people will tell us why they've decided to come or coming more often and that sort of thing. So for Tilton, we are seeing a significant increase from last year. The town that had the next increase closest to you was Andover, and they went up 50% on their visits as well. So they're seeing an increase in our request. And we have tried over the last 3 years to make our requests equitable among the towns. And we do base it on the number of visits that each household does over the year. Last year, we multiplied those visits by $3.06. And if you go to the grocery store, there is not much you're going to put in your basket for $3.06. Most families can go out with a full shopping cart, a regular shopping cart of food. And that's what your $3, and this year, $3.12 will provide to help support us. And it's not just food that the support we get is giving us, because if we can't get that food to us, it's not going to do anybody good. We had bought a panel truck a couple years ago. So fueling it, maintaining it, it's carrying 4,000 pounds twice a week to us, as well as doing other pickups. We do personal hygiene. So we purchased that at the Dollar Tree in Northfield. We sometimes make trips to Walmart in Tilton to make some purchases. So that's a very important part of supporting us, is not just the food, it's allowing us to get the food to people. We do spend a fair amount of money in the summer for our shoppers at Apple Hill Farm in Concord. We were purchasing somewhere between $1,200 and $1,500 of fresh produce a week. So we're just seeing those numbers now coming up as what we're purchasing in produce. And we've had multiple comments from people who say, fresh produce, they just can't get over it, but it's something that we can do to help. It's nutritionally better for them, for families. We have seen an increase in the purchasing of our half gallons of milk. Our director, when she came on board a couple of years ago, felt it was very important, growing bones of children, for adults as well. We started out maybe ordering 280 half gallons ourselves and buying it from Connecticut Creamery, above and beyond what the New Hampshire Food Bank gives us. We are now ordering close to almost 400 every week. Again, we're needing storage, and most of that, it goes in and it comes in, it goes out. What else can I tell you?
You have volunteers?
We have between 90 and 100 to run not only our 3 service days, but also we have a lot of activity on Mondays and Wednesdays, loading and unloading the truck. We have people who come in and help us just load up our truck and take cardboard to the transfer station twice a week. I mean, our little garage area is completely full. We have people that come in and help bag up pet food. If we have pet food that's come in, they will restock the shelves for us. It takes probably 15 to 18 people every service day to run, you know, Tuesday we had 80 people. Typically we used to think we were busy 2 years ago when 40 came in. Boy, we have a busy day. Now we don't blink. If we had 49, we'd think, what's going on? Where is everybody?
It's only going to get busier
And it's,
next week.
I came by the food pantry on my way here tonight, and there were cars in the street waiting to get into our parking lot. And we are very concerned about what's going to happen. I certainly hope that it will not continue at this level, that government will be back up and SNAP will be back up, but we don't know what's going to happen. We had noticed starting in the spring, about June, our shoppers talking about with us and to each other about SNAP benefits, which is important for a lot of them. And even then they were nervous about what was happening. There's been some very significant changes of which I do not fully understand. Our director is a welfare officer in Sutton, so she has a very good handle on this. She has a very good handle on our clients as well. And already she had told me she had one of our shoppers had come through, and their family before was getting $235. Now, as of this summer, they were getting 23. There's been some very significant changes. People are just worried. They're very concerned. The other day, I work and volunteer near the registration desk, so I can sometimes hear some discussions going on. And there was a senior couple that came in and they said, you know, have you been here before? Yes, but we haven't been here for 4 years. We haven't had to. And now all of a sudden they cannot, if they're paying their rent, they're trying to pay water, they're trying to pay oil. Sometimes food is one of those last things. And the thing about the food pantry and what we do is that we do allow them they'll be able to use their money that was going to be for food to go to other things, fuel, for water, which a lot of times residents will come to their towns to seek help. So do we offset? We hope that we can offset sometimes the welfare requests to the towns. I know I live in Andover and they have said that has helped, but that even in that part, that still continues to rise as well. We do have a healthy reserve budget, and we have been developing that over the last 4 years. We feel for us, we have to be very aware of the future. We are never guaranteed any money, as a lot of nonprofits. So we began 3 years ago, I believe 3 years ago, 4 years, putting money into a reserve. So we carry 6 months worth of our budget, because should something happen like the shutdown and continues and we're seeing more people, we may need to use that budget. We have started putting some money aside for the potential future building. If we continue to grow, it's a wonder we're doing what we're doing in a small space. We are looking to put money aside for capital improvements. We decreased it for our 25 budget, but yet we're close to we'll be spending it with some new purchases. So, you know, sometimes on paper there's definitely money there. Could we pull from those reserve funds? Absolutely, if we needed to. But we also feel that it is our support for our residents as well. If we can keep going and doing what we're doing and not having to look for extra grants and stuff. We've received so far this year $130,000 in grants, but that's about 35% of our budget. It's very important, very time intensive. We have a fabulous board member who is very focused on it. She's retiring. So will we be in that same position next year? I don't know, but she's also setting a lot of our lists on our grants our money that we won't receive till next year, and we won't even know for a while, are we getting it? The money we ask from the towns is less than 10% of our whole budget. Part of it too is, my feeling too is a support that you show that we are helping your residents as well. Luckily, Tilton residents can go to us. They can come to your own Tilton, Northfield Tilton pantry. Fresh fruits, First Fruits in Samberton takes Tilton residents as well as in Belmont as well. And we will find quite a few times households will definitely go to more than.
Sure.
Are you all affiliated? All those different locations?
We are not. We are separate entities. We have tried over the last 2 years to try to get together a couple times a year, and it was working for a while. And then I don't think we've met in the last 9 months. We have tried to get different people together to talk about, hey, what's your challenges? How have you solved it? What's working well for you? And we've shared a lot of ideas. Hasn't necessarily all come from this area. Sometimes we've had New London has come in, Boscawen has come in, but we have tried to touch base. When we were making our decisions about restricting towns, I talked to Moultonborough Pantry. They had just had to do the same sort of thing. So we do reach out to one another. Franklin's situation is such that we sometimes we go towards New London and Lebanon. I talk with them there because I'm from Andover, so I talk that way. And then we do also try to reach out. I've talked with Star at Northfield Tilton a couple of times. So we do, we are in touch, but there's not necessarily concerted work together.
How do you do those restrictions again? How do you determine that? Do you ID people?
So when we looked at the map, we keep statistics on how many from each town comes to us. So we used that information to draw the lines. We also, depends on if we thought they were living up near where we knew that there were some pantries. So
you could tell them to go there.
Right. And because we have done that, what we have done, we grandfathered in a few people who Laconia. We grandfathered a couple people from Canterbury, because we knew from where they lived and that it was a ways for them to get into Concord, though there may be something in Concord. So we really had to talk about and play with that. As I said, we grandfathered people in. If somebody comes to us and they say, I'm from Laconia, I've never been here, but I need food, we will feed them. We will put a note in the computer saying they have been here. We have given them emergency food because we are an emergency pantry. But we also tell them, here are some resources in your area, or here's where you can go to find where you should be going instead of coming here. Because we can't continue to serve outside, but we certainly don't want to turn somebody who says they're hungry away.
But you actually do ID?
Correct. Everybody has to come in every time. They have to show the driver's license.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All these CDs, are these term CDs or are they liquid CDs?
They are, I honestly don't know. We have turned them in at times if necessary. I believe we can liquidate them, but it may be with a
penalty or something if it's a
Actually,
12
some
months or
CDs
whatnot.
are short term, are the best interest.
3 months.
And
Yeah.
our treasurer is the
Vice President,
CFO of Franklin Bank.
Oh,
So
great.
She knows
Okay.
she should know what she's doing.
Yeah, right.
And I don't always know what it is, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
she
she opened
keeps
a
it
new
very-
one. She pulled from, looks like the money market and opened another CD. Yeah,
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 they were.
yeah. So,
Okay.
Well, just to clarify, if anyone's watching on the video, that what we were talking about on Saturday and the deadline and the concern is SNAP benefits because the federal government shutdown seems to run out of SNAP on Saturday. So that's what
the biggest.
everyone here seemed to understand.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify in
Right,
case somebody's
right.
watching on
And
the
SNAP,
video.
they have changed SNAP benefits, how they approve them, what you have to do to maintain them. They're very, from what I could see, they're very much more restricted than they used to be. And that's what started the concern we were seeing in the summer, because they're much, as I said, much more restricted.
And unfortunately, it's going to fall on the local.
Yeah.
Between the welfare officers and the food pantries are going to get whacked hard. It's going to be, it's
Do
going to be
you-
tough until they can get it back online.
Do you have any connections with the local grocery stores, the big stores? I mean, what kind of,
Yes.
are you able to access any of their stuff?
So New
Or
Hampshire Food Bank has a program, called Fresh Rescue. So they connect with local groceries and ask them for anything that's outdated that they are not going to be selling to people
Mhm.
to put aside and donate. We actually pick up 5 to 6 days a week from BJ's, from Hannaford's, as well as other pantries
Mhm.
do the same.
Okay,
So we
great.
might have a couple days at one, somebody else comes in and picks up from the other. So yes, we use their resources.
I would think that would be a huge resource, but yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. We lost, they had Food Bank had a New Hampshire Feeding New Hampshire program that we would get some funding, couple $1,000s a year to buy local groceries, local fresh produce. And they significantly reduced that and we didn't receive anything this year, though we were anticipating, hoping that we were going to be getting that. So some things have changed. And grants, one of the grants that we did not receive, 70 people applied for 12 grants. And, for us, grants,
Mhm.
as I said, is over 30,
Yeah.
35% of what our funding is.
We just got approached by a gentleman that wants, I work at New Hampshire Department of Corrections, and we just got approached by a gentleman that buys seeds, gives them to the correctional facilities. They grow the food and then they have to give 85% of it to a local food bank.
Great. New Hampshire Gleans will also has dropped off seeds. So we do that in the spring. Sometimes they drop it off again in the fall, and then we just pass it out and they can, so we encourage people to grow their own food if they have space. And New Hampshire Gleans will bring us plants that they pulled, broccoli and all kinds of things, tomato plants.
Mhm.
And we put it out for our shoppers to take and grow their
Nice.
own. Do whatever we can.
Great. Hey, any other
No?
questions? Okay, great.
Right.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Good luck.
good work. Okay.
My other binder. Oh, thank
Okay,
you.
family promise.
And also Heather wrote a letter.
Thank you.
Mhm, right.
It's included in your packet.
Thank you.
Okay, we have family promise of the Lakes region.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me today. I'm Sarah Al-Sharidi, and I'm representing Family Promise of the Lakes region tonight.
Great. Yes, we have quite a
Yes.
lot of information. So if
did.
you could just give us synopses.
Sure, I'll
of
do my
what-
best.
what
I
you
had
guys are
asked
doing.
Heather, I was like, hey, just an FYI, this is quite
Right,
lengthy.
right.
Are you sure you want all this? So I'm Family Promise of the Lakes region. We launched officially in 2024, received our 501c3 this year in April. We are hoping to provide case management services to residents throughout Belknap County who are at risk of or experiencing homelessness. I kind of got this question the other night and of how is this different from going to your general town welfare agency? When you go to a town welfare agency, somebody comes in, usually it's very quick, figure out what the root of the problem is and get them out the door, right? The difference with this is a family can come in, they're going to have follow-up case management every week. Until that case closes, there will be a one-to-one action plan created. So for example, if you come into my office and you meet with my case manager, you'd sit down together, you guys would decide what the priority of needs are and how we can get through them to get you to your end goal. And we would meet every week or talk on the phone every week until we're through with that action plan. And then we would close your case. We would follow up again in 3 months, 6 months, and then a year to see how stable you are. And at any time, you can always come back. All of that is free. You don't have to provide any proof of need in order to get that type of service. However, in our budget, we have the direct client expenses, which is a fancy way of saying our tenant assistance fund, which would have funds in it in order to be able to help with rental assistance, utilities, if you're behind. Even if, for example, you do a rideshare program, you work for Lyft or whatever, and your car broke down and you needed some assistance with paying some of those fees off, that would be something that would go under there. If you're a plumber and you need help, applying for your license, you don't have the funds for that, we could help with something like that under that. And so that would require some proof in order before we would just hand over funds, but that would be an additional piece to kind of help families remain stable. I have direct experience doing this type of work, both as a social worker for 8 years and someone who leads the housing clinic at Watch CDC, which is in Waltham. And we have a very small team, also nonprofit. We assist 600 to 700 families on average per year, if not more, with a team of 3. Yeah. So we know how to do a lot with a little and
You've got 2
get through.
people working for 10 towns here. So,
Yes.
I mean, that's, to me, I find that a big stretch. I mean, I don't know how it's going to work because you're not going to be able to do much outreach with that, right? You're going to have to expect people to come in.
Yes.
And there's a lot of homeless people out there that
Yes.
don't have any connections to anybody.
Yes, I'm aware. I work
yeah.
with CAP and I know that they do the direct outreach. So a lot of that we would be working along with the CAP program in order to get them in, get the help that they need.
Okay. So that's one of the connections. And you have an interesting affiliate program. How?
Fiscal sponsor, yes.
Well, so it sounds like you're holding meetings and pulling people in to help, or is that?
So,
I
like,
mean, it's this.
I think I'm misunderstanding the question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you it has some kind of program which is multi-month long, right? Where you were, had the first month you were doing interviews somewhere or meetings, local meetings with people.
Oh, we had
What-
community meetings.
Is that for the program?
No. These are just community meetings to say, like, we're hoping to launch. This is what we hope to be able to provide, and what we hope to be able to give to the community.
I guess I was just reading about the memorandum of understanding for affiliates.
Oh,
in
the
development.
MOU. Yes. So this is
Oh,
the
I was trying to
agreement.
figure out what that was, because it seems to be a multi-month.
So that's the
program.
agreement between me and Family Promise National, which gives a timeline of ideally where we would be at what times. And it's the agreement showing that is my fiscal sponsor, like proof of there's fiscal sponsorship.
Okay, so the first, second, third community meetings, that's the way that you've developed this program now? Is that how that works? Or?
No. That's their timeline of events of where you would want to be by a certain period of time. So we have had some community meetings, and I'm part of a housing discussion group in town as well, and a couple of different other ones. But that's not the MOU. Is just a contract between me and who would be my fiscal sponsor, saying that in order to get us to operational funding, this is what we hope to do, and this is their agreement that they're going to help me with that piece, like what I do versus what they do and their responsibility as a fiscal sponsor.
Okay, I guess I don't really understand
So
it. I'll have to read
They're
it over
like, you're a
again.
national sponsor, and this is agreement between you
Yes.
and that company to
Yes,
say.
it's almost
she
like a
will agree to do
franchise.
this, and they will
Yes.
agree to do
Yes.
whatever they can to help her.
It's almost like a franchise, like she's
Correct.
under their umbrella,
Yes.
but for the local branch.
Yes. There's 3 other affiliates in the state, for example, alone. There's Family Promise of Southern New Hampshire, Family Promise of Concord, and Seacoast Family Promise. And I went with a fiscal sponsor because you get the additional assistance of, how to form your 501c3. I was able to raise funds charitably and legally with a fiscal sponsor before I had my 501c3. There's some benefits in that way to go with a fiscal sponsor. They also provide things like board trainings. They help with annual staff trainings once you're operational, things like that.
How large of an entity are they?
They're I think in 36 states and have over I don't know if it's 220, but definitely over 200 affiliates that are operational. Each one can do something, they do similar things, but each one can do something a little bit different. So, for example, there's one in, I believe, Washington State, which develops affordable housing with manufactured housing and the partnership they have with Clayton Homes. And they go through a case management program, and after a certain amount of time and they've completed the case management, the family moves in and they own that home. And so every single one of them is just a little bit different, may start a little bit different, but is tailorable to that community.
So most of your funds come from them?
Some, they did seed, they recently started seed funding, and they chose a few of us to seed fund. I was one of them, so they gave $20,000.
They have a lot to give. There's 9 million in there. Now that you're a 501(c), I saw that there was a lot of to be determined or for grants. So that's what you're concentrating on, because there's a
Yes.
lot of grants out there for
Yes,
homeless
yes, I've
shelters.
applied and I'm in the third round for a few different grants, or the final round, but I have 130,000 that's pending that I've already applied to.
Yeah. And there's other, like the Belknap House does shelter for homeless families. Do you work with any of them?
Yes,
for case
so
management?
with them, they do wonderful work. In meeting with Belknap House in the past or a few times, one of the things is that the families, stay in the shelter and they provide the case management there. Where we would be different is the case management is not, in our organization, is not held to just who's in a shelter. We don't currently have a shelter. So anybody from the community could come in and get that assistance versus Belknap House is, based off of that and their referrals that they get from DHS.
So you opened in
BCYF,
24.
I'm sorry. Yes.
24. How did you support your agency? Just from Family Promise till you became a 501(c)?
Once you are approved to be an affiliate, it becomes a responsibility of the affiliate to raise their own funds. So until they're fully operational, they stay under the fiscal sponsorship of Family Promise National.
How long are you under this fiscal?
I signed the MOU in March, and so I'm still under their fiscal, because we have not raised enough to be officially operational. We have raised a little bit over our $50,000 or 50% of our budget recently. We hope to hire in December.
Okay, I'm just still trying to understand how it works. So you're working with homelessness. What other programs are you doing?
So our case management is for homelessness prevention and
Okay.
stabilization.
Stabilization, that means people without a home, you're trying to find them a home.
Those that are either, yes, if they are homeless, then helping them get into a home and stay stable. So you want someone to stay within a home at least a year, especially when they come from the homeless community. A lot of times they need that wraparound support. How do I contact maintenance? Where do I go for this? Oh, I did happen to fall behind. Can you help me with job search? All of that. That's where we would come in.
There you go. Yeah.
You help them when they're on the verge of homelessness
As
also.
well. Yes.
So is that the main thrust of your work is homelessness and the stabilization around that?
Yes,
So
that would be our launching program.
basically what you're doing, right?
Yes.
And you are coordinating with CAP.
Yes.
Who else?
Also, a couple of the local agencies, the local domestic violence agency, we're working with them as well. We've even worked with Isaiah 61 if they have a family or someone that comes through that would otherwise be eligible. And
how about all the 10 towns?
Yes, and
So
the different.
you work with all the welfare directors? of
Yes,
the
I
10
would.
towns. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Right now, we don't have any case managers. So once we launch.
Sure.
Do you keep record of what towns you're helping families in and how many?
Yes, we have
Is that in here?
It's in here, yeah. Yeah.
Where?
Yeah. Somewhere in here.
Because all I see is Family Promise stuff.
They
but-
had, because I had made a note on that.
Maybe in the application.
Well, it's mostly like Belknap County towns. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
And we have a Family Promise is developing a CRM program that we could all use instead of having to use different programs to be able to report and track
And
information.
you all have a letter from our Tilton welfare officer and her relationship
So
and
you put 10, looks like in 26, that might be from Tilton, 10 people.
Right
10
here.
yes.
Page.
No, that's just the amounts. I'm
No, but these
looking
are the
at what,
towns
yeah,
they're
I want to
working
know how
with.
many they
These would be
serve,
1,
yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 towns, which are mostly basically.
So you really haven't really got going because you just became a 501(c)(3).
Right.
So we really, I mean, 10's a guess, I guess.
Yes.
But
What
you asked
made
for
the
the same
deter-
amount from everybody.
Yeah, right, right.
what made the determination that your entity was needed here?
So I have this work, we're doing this work at Watch, and I kept seeing both online and when in the community, I live in the community, people saying, hey, just lost my stuff. Can you please help me with X, Y, or Z? And then I met and did a community assessment, meaning I did a search to see who was already doing this work. And then I requested to meet with those individuals or agencies to see what the need looked like. Looked at different statistics that are available at the state, county, and city levels, including the McKinney-Ventos records, to kind of gauge an idea of how the population is looking currently and what is projected. And meeting with the different groups, the number one thing that I hear is we need case management. With CAP, for example, every once in a while, Sheena will give me a call and she will ask if there's something new that I've heard about or know about. And she says like she alone has 200 cases and they're not geared for case management, but they have to because it just does not exist. And even when speaking, for example, I met with Heather prior to submitting the application. That is also that need for case management was made aware. She asked me what case management would look like. And again, I explained the one-to-one. You come in, you meet with me, we sit down, have a meeting for an hour, or my case manager would, and we would develop an action plan together for the next, month of what we want to have accomplished. They have to tell us what they feel is important to them, right? Because we need for them to be invested in it. So that's why with the action plan, we detail what their responsibility will be and what our responsibility would be. It's a working partnership together. And we happen to be, or have happened to do this pretty successfully, like I said, in my other location, and find that this way I can properly allocate, there's 40 hours in a week, whoever needs the most amount of time and assistance is going to get it, because for the ones that are able-bodied and can make a phone call or can pick up something or something like that, we can sit down, meet weekly and have a very, short conversation. And I know that they can do X, Y, or Z, and I can do my piece. And then that leaves me room for the families that don't have that ability. There's a lot of illiteracy, for example. So for those clients, when I've had to step in and help them, we write and do every single thing, every application, all of the pieces. And that takes hours, right? Like I remember when you think about it of a numbers game, if you have someone that is able to do what they can do, you might spend in a 40-hour work week, you might spend 5 hours total for that family. But when you have someone that's really needy and needs that, then you're going to be spending 10, 15 plus hours a week with that family, which is why we kind of have geared it this way. And I've learned how to utilize volunteers and interns and things to get the most bang for our buck, basically.
You case manage after they have a home, and for how long? When do you shut it off?
So that's at 3 and 6 and then 12-month mark to that follow-up. Once
Okay.
once it's closed,
Standard,
yeah, just to see how they're doing. And they will know, we'll make sure to reiterate many times, if you ever feel like you have a question or something, you're welcome to ask, send an email. If we have texting, we'll say, send a text message. Those things are easy enough to answer, don't take a ton of time, don't necessarily require the case to be reopened. Could be just something they didn't know who to turn to and ask. And we can just give them that information and boom, and it's done again. But it prevents that reoccurring visit to the welfare office and like, this is way outside of my scope, can't help, and the frustration between them and the client themselves too.
Do you have your own board?
Yes, we have 9. We're hoping to have 15. If anybody's interested, please feel free.
And
to
they're
let
all
me know.
volunteers?
They're all volunteers.
So is Family Promise also in a bunch of other areas of New Hampshire?
So this is Seacoast, the Southern New Hampshire, and the Concord one. They're all in different phases of what they're doing.
Mhm.
South or Southern New Hampshire, for example, has affordable housing. So they have up to 3-bedroom apartments, no more than 1,400 a month for families. They have a static site shelter for families and transitional home. Concord is now building their transitional site. It'll be like 6 to 12 months housing. Seacoast has affordable housing as well. They've all been moving into developing housing because unfortunately, I'm sure you all know, rent and mortgages are outrageous. And so unfortunately, developing is where it's at. And a long-term goal of ours is to eventually develop. And one of the reasons why I chose Family Promise to be my fiscal sponsor is because they have connections with Clayton Homes, for example, which donates at least 5 housing units a year to any of the affiliates, a lot of times more. But those are the types of relationships that I wanted people to have access to.
Housing is low. People are staying in shelters a lot longer right
Yep.
now. And then they can't afford it.
Yeah, that's one of the issues. When I spoke with Belknap House, they had mentioned it used to be you'd want to have a family in shelter no more than 3 months and then keep it cycling. But now, because rent is so expensive, the families are just staying. So those beds aren't moving. So even though the need continues to rise, the same 5 or 6 families are still there because there's nowhere for them to go. And you can't throw them back on the street. Not really. So what do? You hold on. And so that's why I was like, okay, well, there is still a need here for what it is that I'm hoping to accomplish, because I want to get people back to their lives, right? They want to go back to their lives. Nobody wants to be in shelter forever or on the street, especially in the winter. And with families in particular, I know I did child welfare investigations too, I have a long history. And I've learned, while poverty is not illegal, unfortunately and understandably, you can't have kids living in the woods, right? So what happens when you become homeless and you're a family? Most families will try not to say anything because they know that DCYF is going to get involved, and they're right. And unfortunately, when and if they are found out and DCYF becomes involved, the kids get removed. And then what happens when the kids get removed? They're traumatized, families are traumatized, it costs a ton of money because you're cycling through them through the system, and nobody's happy with that. So hopefully, this will happen and it will be successful and we don't have to put more people through that
So
unnecessarily.
you're serving families or individuals or anybody?
So anyone can be available for the case management. That's the beauty of it. For shelter, I do have to follow, at least for a while, Family Promise's national recommendation of just families. So anybody with a minor, and if somebody has special needs, for example, that 18 goes up to like 24. I have lots of hopes and plans that I can expand it and be able to reach more people down the line. But, one thing at a time, Sarah. That's what I tell myself.
Hey, any other questions?
I have one more.
Sure.
Other than asking the towns all for funding, what is I see fundraising here.
We have a couple of reoccurring donors. We just got another 25,000 from one group. We've also been kind of grandfathered in with the Sakowicz Foundation. So they are giving another 25,000 in 2026, for example. So yeah, we have the private donorship and we have December, actually. Hopefully you'll see it soon. But we're having a fundraiser with a local climax throwing group in Belmont. It'll be December 19th. Please feel free to come. It'll be a good time.
Raise money.
Yes, 50% of all the funds will come to us, which is really great. And that's one group. Shaw's is going to also be part of a fundraising in December. We found out today for their give back program. So for every reusable bag you buy, we get $1 back. And we're doing similar work with Hannaford and the local businesses. I'm applying to the tax credit program for the capacity building No guarantee I'll get it this year, but we're still applying. And if we get it, we could get 150,000 over 2 years for that, and be able to continue to get those funds, hopefully in year 3 on with those businesses by continuing to sell those tax credits. We have plan to apply with CDBG funding. I'm applying for the Medicaid reimbursement program, for example, which gives back funds if you provide case management through Medicaid. It's a long process.
Grants are heavy right now for shelters, so you got to get them all in.
They are.
Fall, yeah.
They are. I am a one-woman show, guys. Like, believe it or not.
We'll see you working at midnight.
Yes, you will.
So I guess I'm still wondering where you're going to put homeless people if there's no places to put them.
So the case management piece, I have a relationship with a local developer. Since I don't have the ability to develop currently, we did make an agreement with Metropolis Properties. So, for example, they had funding with HUD for a subsidized group. And if you've heard of them at all, you know they take forever to get people in. But yes, they sure do. But once you get them in, it's great. You know, it's wonderful. I got one person for, I have 5. One is a retired police officer in his 80s. And, you know, I feel for him. Another one has been homeless for quite some time, but volunteers and works in the community. Unfortunately, has a criminal history that kind of makes it hard for him to find places. And then a couple of other families. And so I've managed to get 5 families into the Metropolis Properties homes. I'm trying to convince them to go on and develop elsewhere. We were kind of going back and forth between starting in Carroll County or Belknap because we had found a donor who wanted to initially fund us quite a bit and buy a shelter for us. That did not work out, unfortunately. But regardless, we learned that, for example, Carroll County has 900 acres to give away for developing, but you need money for infrastructure, which is the most expensive part. So
Even up the old Laconia State School
yes,
was supposed to be
yes,
something like that, and then that just fell through.
yes,
But that's the perfect place for something like that.
yes.
But you know, if you're starting here, where are you going to put people if you don't have a place to put them? Is my question.
Yeah. So
What are you going to do with them?
That's
Yeah.
the good thing. That's why I've been trying to make relationships with local landlords and like developers as well, so I can get families moving into places. May take longer because they take a while, but it gets them in. And hopefully there's also the at risk of homelessness population as well. If they're not homeless and I can keep them where they are, then I don't have to worry about putting them somewhere new.
Yeah, but you have to start reducing rents because they're ridiculous everywhere.
I know,
I mean,
and I
I
agree.
don't know how you can do that.
I wish I could tell you the answer to that because it's a huge problem. I have a friend of mine who does commercial real estate. She's been in real estate a very long time. And we have Family Promise Nationals looking into potentially buying pieces of land to develop and then have affiliates manage them. So I asked her if she'd be willing to help me find a couple of properties to suggest since they were willing to seed us in the first place. And we found one that might work given, you know, if all the stars align, as you know. But I promise I think about it every single day, all the time, every hour. Even sometimes till I fall asleep and then some. But yeah, it is a struggle. As you know, not lying to you there. And when I went to Family Promise National, that was the very first thing I said. Like, I want people to have a case management program. I want to prevent people from going homeless, but ultimately, we need to have housing. We need to develop housing. Like that needs to be the concurrent goal. That takes longer to develop because it takes millions of dollars, but that needs to be the ultimate goal because unfortunately.
Well, at one point, the federal government was providing,
Yes.
but it was also having difficulty establishing parts in towns because they didn't want that type of housing.
Yes.
So, I mean, I don't know where that is in the system these days, but because it was in the system. But
we had applied for the price grant last year, and in December we made it to the last round, but it ultimately went to LA, a couple of other really big cities, and then a couple tribal communities.
Mhm.
But I was excited we at least made it to the final round. They were willing to look at us. And had we been funded, Family Promise was asking for 62 million, and we would have been given 5 million of that to begin development. We had the partners, the location of where to put things. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. It's definitely frustrating for
Yeah.
everyone around.
Right. Right. Any other questions, Sarah?
I'm good.
Okay,
Good.
great. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you guys
very
for
much.
being willing to listen to me and all of that. Thank you so much.
We'll be in touch. Yeah. Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
You too.
Good luck.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so now we have to do minutes. Do we have minutes here somewhere?
Yeah, we,
Yes.
Where did I do it?
I'll make a motion to accept those minutes Wednesday.
I don't have any.
I don't either.
They were on an email.
I got 3 of these.
I didn't even get any by the email.
I did
so-
get the email.
I didn't get any on email even.
As presented.
So.
Second.
I haven't seen them, so I can't vote on them. But
Well, that's
Well, I can,
silly,
if you guys
Bill.
want to
I've
give me a
got
minute, I
some
can
right
get
here.
them, or
I
you
see
can,
'em? Yeah.
do you want to do them in the next meeting, or do you want me to go print them really quick? Because I
Well, if I could
completely,
read them real quick,
Yeah,
It'd be
take your
great.
time. Go ahead.
you have them?
I didn't see them. I didn't have them on my
Would
email.
you pass that down to Bill?
We need to talk
I can't believe I didn't print them.
have like
Yeah,
numbers
we
of how
should.
much it's going
A
up every year.
non-public, because they watch these.
Well, it
I
would be the
like to have a
22nd.
non-public one.
It's bad.
Didn't we meet last week?
Yeah, because I know exactly what they're gonna
Yes.
do.
Yes.
Okay, I don't
Yeah,
have the
these-
22nd.
yeah.
I have the 8th.
Right. No, we.
Yeah,
it would
no,
be
we-
the 22nd minute.
Yep.
Finish
I didn't
it up
print
on
out
my
the new
phone.
ones either.
I didn't even see them on my.
It's only
on the,
7:15 and I'm waiting
They,
on
had,
house.
they didn't even have an agenda.
Meeting, if you guys don't mind.
We'll have to do them next time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
For some
okay.
reason, when you sent, the only thing I got this week was, I think your chart. I didn't have any agenda or minutes.
I did send them. I don't know
Got the
why you
six-
don't
Yeah,
get
so
them.
the minutes are right here. If
Yeah.
everybody wants them on
16th
the
minutes.
phone.
Yeah, I didn't have,
Oh, was it?
I didn't end up writing them till
Yeah,
yesterday,
wasn't it?
so.
Didn't we meet last week?
October 28th, you sent them to everybody's email.
16th, that's the selectman minutes. That
Yeah,
was today.
It was the 22nd.
do it
was the
next
meeting.
budget
22nd.
meeting.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I wrote them
You're right.
Our
yesterday.
next meeting.
I sent them out yesterday.
Your
Yep.
October 28th.
Our next meeting is
Email.
Yeah.
the 5th.
Yes, it's next week.
Yeah,
Okay, I
Then
didn't
we're not
see it
meeting the
on
week
there.
yeah,
after.
she sent the
Correct.
2 emails, the spreadsheet of who,
Yes.
everybody who's coming, and then
Maybe I didn't scroll down far enough or something.
Bill, what's
Yeah.
They're
it
tasked.
is in there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in attachment.
Yeah, I didn't, I just got them out yesterday, so I really wasn't even sure if you guys were gonna get a
Okay.
chance to do them
That's-
tonight,
That's
but
probably why I didn't.
Minutes were on that email.
Yeah,
I guess
okay.
I'll
Especially where I
withdraw my
forgot to
second.
print them.
All right, we will defer the minutes till next week.
Well, there's a motion on the board, so we have
Yeah,
to.
I withdraw my motion.
Okay.
Those October 8th minutes have been approved anyway. I think we're set on that one.
Other business.
I don't have anything.
So is the next
Oh.
meeting is 2 weeks?
No, next week is the next meeting.
Okay,
And that's
okay.
gonna be
Who's
with,
coming
It's the 5th.
YAP, what is it, Youth Association?
Yeah.
Distance?
YAP, yes. And,
Cap.
Lakes Region Visiting Nurses Association.
Okay, the Lakes regions. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
I
right.
tried to get Cap in on that night, but they had a conflict, so I put them in with the library, but I thought we could put them in first and then do the library after, because the library
That'll
will be
be on
longer.
the 18th.
That's on the 19th, yeah.
Right. Okay. So just two
Perfect.
next week. We're gonna be.
2 next week.
Yeah.
We skip a week and then the week after.
Okay.
The way to make the schedule easier to remember is we had the 2 weeks we have off is Veterans Day week and Thanksgiving week.
Okay. Right.
So holiday
Yeah.
weeks.
Very good. Is there anything that we want to discuss about tonight's group? Is there anyone online that wants to make a
There's no
comment?
one there.
Nobody
Nobody's
there.
on there.
Oh, there's one up there.
That's us.
That's
You want to talk to yourself, Bill? Go ahead.
I do all the time.
Hey, Mr. Lawrence, what do you think about that?
Best way to get the answers you need.
Okay, we can bring it up later. Everyone
Yeah, I
else
mean,
all set?
The new people look promising. I want to read Heather's input on it and dig a little deeper into the
Yeah.
portfolio, but
Yeah.
and the I'm almost wondering if the select board or somebody's interested in the food pantry helping them for this year, not planning for next year,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Saturday could hurt them and hurt them really
Yeah.
quickly.
Right.
The town's going to take a hit on it too. The
Oh,
welfare
yes.
officer is
Oh,
going
sure.
to be
Yeah,
swamped.
yeah, everybody is.
Yeah, it's going to hit us all the way around.
You know, we're responsible for next year's planning, but I would imagine this year something's going to hit.
Maybe it won't hit for long. Maybe they'll figure it out.
Well, just from hearing what I hear from things is there was a law passed that makes it easier to get them funding as if they were a little more of an emergency than other things. They don't have to fix the entire problem
Right.
to get $5 billion of.
Well, they found the
That
money
$5
to,
billion's not going to last very long either.
they found the money to start paying the military people. So
Yeah.
Well, that was a $130 million donation from one man, though. That helped out.
they said that what I heard on the radio was they found it from a fund that they hadn't used for some other purpose.
Donation.
Yeah,
That's
130
what it
million
said.
from one guy.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're off track for
Yeah.
the Tilton
Okay.
budget.
Hey,
Motion to
we'll find
adjourn.
130 million.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Too bad.
Nobody is opposed to going home.
And unfortunately, that circus does affect us. That's the craziest part.
It all trickles